5-minute makeup tips, plus win our Gorge Getaway tomorrow at 9.
On World News tonight, the Pentagon's strategy to get Osama bin Laden if he is still in Afghanistan. Inside Afghanistan, the village leveled by the U.S., the Pentagon says, for good reason. The governor of California warns that terrorists may be targeting major California bridges within the next week. We'll meet the men assigned to protect the bridges. And what are people buying these days to make themselves feel better? More Bibles, for one thing, and puppies.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to begin tonight by focusing on Osama bin Laden, and not in a general way. The Middle East television network Al Jazeera published a letter today, which it said was from bin Laden, and in it they say he calls on Muslims in Pakistan to make Islam victorious in the face of the Christian crusade. At the Pentagon today, the defense secretary said he wants to triple or perhaps quadruple the number of U.S. special forces inside Afghanistan. Some of them will help groups that oppose the Taliban. And some special forces may already be assigned to the specific mission of getting bin Laden. ABC's John McWethy is at the Pentagon tonight with the details of your reporting, John.
Peter, intelligence sources are telling ABC News that the hunt for Osama bin Laden, often obscured by the highly visible war against the Taliban, has now been reduced to just a handful of suspect sites in the mountains.
They are complexes of caves and tunnels similar to the ones that the U.S. bombed yesterday. They are now under 24-hour surveillance, sources say, from the air and ground. When U.S. Special Operations troops made their highly advertised raids 2 weeks ago, taking an airfield and Taliban command post, sources tell ABC News it was in part a diversion, so other teams could be dropped off to begin intensified surveillance in the mountains nearby. The Bush administration is now debating whether to go after bin Laden by using giant 5,000-pound bunker buster bombs or to send in commandos. Bombing has lower risk for American troops, of course, but if successful, there might never be proof the job was done. For that reason, Pentagon sources say the scales have tilted toward going after bin Laden with troops. John Hillen was in Special Operations for 6 years.
I think there's a huge upside for the American and Allied effort to actually capturing or very definitively confirming the killing of some of the al-Qaeda leaders, to include bin Laden.
Sources tell ABC News that bombs are already being used against some of these caves, but only for limited tactical purposes, to seal off some of the entrances, limiting the ways al-Qaeda members can get out. And in the words of one source, to shake the anthill, hitting near the entrance, then watching activity that follows. Intelligence sources say the number of fighters now protecting bin Laden appears to be growing, increasing the risk to U.S. troops.
Our Special Operations forces will be facing, ultimately, the sort of people who are very willing to die for their cause.
Military sources say that plans for raids against bin Laden's strongholds are constantly being revised and rehearsed. They're waiting for just the right piece of intelligence, the right conditions, and a decision by the president to go for it. Peter?
Thank you, John. John McWethy at the Pentagon tonight. Now to Afghanistan itself, where correspondent Dan Harris has been reporting from Taliban-controlled territory, and that's still much of the country, including in and around the city of Kandahar. Today, what happened in one village and why it may have happened.
This morning, our Taliban guides took us deep into the desert, an hour north of Kandahar, to see what one called the real face of the U.S. Army, Chokar Korez, a village dismantled in a bombardment 10 days ago, an attack witnessed by a local shepherd. Nobody was able to escape, he said. They were all trapped. It's tough to get an exact number, but based on interviews with people who live in the area, it appears around 50 people died here. If this was a Taliban or al-Qaeda base, there were no signs amid the rubble, only remnants of household life and pieces of exploded bombs. In a neighboring village, the brother of one victim walked through fresh graves. yelling out the names of the dead. Only God knows why they attacked us, he said. One possible explanation for this apparent attack: on the night it happened, according to eyewitnesses, a series of cars from the city of Kandahar arrived here full of guests. Today, the Pentagon said it did hit the village and hit it on purpose. They called it a Taliban encampment with many al-Qaeda collaborators. No matter what the truth is, the Taliban are clearly making this attack one of the highlights of our visit. After the trip to Chokar Kharez, we had a chance to deviate from the Taliban's agenda with a foray into downtown Kandahar. What we saw was a city that was neither abandoned nor in a state of panic. Stocked stores, afternoon traffic, and curiosity about an American visitor. We had been out of the car for about 30 seconds when we were surrounded by people who wanted to shake hands, talk, or just stare. Dan Harris, ABC News, Kandahar.
And now to the terrorist threat here at home. In California today, the governor said there was a terrorist threat to the state's enormous bridges over the next few days. He mentioned 4 bridges, and he said the threat was credible. We're joined by ABC's John Miller, who covers such matter. What do we know about the threat?
Well, these 3 short paragraphs, this is the warning that went out to thousands of law enforcement agencies. And what it says, in essence, is the FBI is in possession of uncorroborated information indicating that unnamed groups are targeting suspension bridges on the West Coast. The 6 incidents, according to their source, are to occur during the rush hour between Friday and next Wednesday.
And what evidence do we have, or do we know anything at all about how this came in?
Sources tell me that this information is what they call a walk-in, a man who walked in unannounced to a Coast Guard facility and started telling them that he possessed this information.
Okay, many thanks, John Miller, with what we know, and it's not a lot. Governor Davis did say that the FBI supports his notion of making this alert public, and he will put out a statement later in the day to that effect. On Capitol Hill tonight, the House of Representatives is voting on legislation which is intended to improve the security of air travel. It has been 7 weeks since the terrorist attacks, but the bill remains mired in politics. At issue is whether every airport security screener should be a government employee. ABC's Linda Douglas joins us on the Hill for a debate that has been long and occasionally mean.
It was a very close vote, but House Republicans won tonight, Peter. The Senate had voted to federalize airport security workers, but the House persuaded the president to support their argument that he should have the discretion to hire private workers. This morning, key House members were called to the White House for some last-minute arm twisting by the president.
Well, I thought he was very persuasive.
The president?
Yeah.
Democrats and their key ally, Republican John McCain, pleaded with members to hear their argument that security by low-paid private airport screeners led to the tragedy of September 11th.
This is police work. The companies that have been doing this have failed the American people.
Shame on anyone who says that union workers or government workers can't be trusted. I'll tell you who can't be trusted. The companies who will cut every corner to save a dime so they can come in with the lowest bid.
Under the Democrats' plan, a force of 28,000 federal agents would handle security at airports. House Republicans want airport security to be handled by private companies whose workers would be trained and managed by the federal government. Republicans charge the Democrats' plan just means more big government.
You can go home and tell your constituents. What we did is created the biggest bureaucracy in the history of a generation.
Democrats accused Republicans of trying to preserve the status quo.
You are simply painting an old system to make it look differently. You're camouflaging it, and you're putting my family at risk, and I don't like it.
Not so, shot back Republicans.
Having everyone on the federal payroll does not give us the insurance or assurance that we need.
The bill passed by the House tonight is very different than the one that was passed by the Senate. So the House and Senate will have to hash out their differences. So it could still be some time, Peter, before an airport security bill becomes law.
Thanks very much, Linda Douglas on Capitol Hill. The Centers for Disease Control said today that the anthrax, which killed a New York City woman early yesterday morning, is virtually identical to the bacteria mailed to Senator Tom Daschle. How the woman contracted the anthrax remains the question. ABC's Brian Ross begins with that. Brian.
Peter, authorities are trying to follow what they call the trail of infection, but the case of the New York woman is turning into the latest disappointment in the investigative trail. Federal officials now say they thought the mysterious case of the Bronx hospital worker might have led them to the anthrax terrorists, that maybe Kathy Nguyen was exposed because the people behind the attacks were in her neighborhood. But extensive tests at her workplace, at her apartment, on her mail, and her clothes all proved negative.
We did do environmental sampling in the apartment and the mail slot, and at this point we don't see any evidence of any anthrax exposure there.
In New Jersey, where the anthrax letters were mailed, no hard lead. But the FBI said today 2 men in this apartment building near the infected Hamilton Postal Facility were being detained on immigration charges. And the manager of the apartment building said the FBI asked for handwriting samples.
They just wanted to see what was written down. They wanted to see more things in writing.
A neighbor said the 2 men came out of an apartment where 4 other men from the Mideast lived.
Well, I don't know where those 2 lived here or not because I had never seen them before, the 2 they took out.
There was no indication the 2 men were connected to the anthrax letters, but it's clear the FBI is going through the area building by building in the search for clues. 4 weeks to the day after the first anthrax case was reported, still no leads.
And Brian, what's the latest we know about the additive called bentonite in the anthrax, which made it so allegedly dangerous?
Well, Peter, today the White House said that despite initial test results, which we reported, suggesting the presence of a chemical called bentonite, a trademark of the Iraqi weapons program, a further chemical analysis has ruled that out. The White House says there are chemical additives in that anthrax, including one called silica. Now, that's not a trademark of any one country's weapons program, but it is known to have been used, Peter, by Iraq, Russia, and the U.S. in making a military-style anthrax.
Okay, many thanks. Brian Ross on the anthrax stories of the day. When we come back, we'll take a closer look at the threat to the bridges in California, and we'll see the first line of defense. The U.S. has closed its doors to refugees for now. Not a single refugee admitted to the country last month. And at the end of the broadcast tonight, Americans shopping for comfort. Brisk business at the pet store.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Nexium.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
Wonder what's going on in your local public schools? Take a look.
Teachers, parents, and support professionals are working together to make learning come alive. Teachers inspire our kids to reach new heights, whether it's helping students master the alphabet or explore new worlds on the computer. Our teachers are leading the way. Today, more than ever, we need public schools that work for every child and to teach the values that make America strong.
New Pedigree Little Champions. Gently prepared, then sealed in our revolutionary flavor lock pouch. For the home-cooked taste dogs love.
C. Move. Beat. The future of vitamin C is here. Ester C, a patented non-acidic vitamin C that supports your immune system and the health of your eyes, joints, and cardiovascular system. Don't settle for less. Ester C, your body will know the difference.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at protecting the bridges. As we mentioned earlier, California's Governor Gray Davis said today that his state's bridges may be in danger.
We believe there's a credible threat that there'll be an effort made between November 2nd and November 7th to destroy one of those bridges.
Well, it's certainly an alarming statement. However, the governor intended it. preventing attacks on these structures is a full-time job. We're joined by Judy Muller in our Los Angeles bureau tonight, who's just been out with the men who are on the front line of defense. Judy?
Peter, Governor Davis says he's going to request additional National Guard troops to help protect those bridges he believes may be targeted by terrorists. But the Coast Guard is already on the case in San Francisco, home to two of the bridges, the Golden Gate and the Bay Bridge.
Those bridges were built back in the 30s, and the vessels between now and when they were built have gotten much larger and much faster.
To counter that threat, the Coast Guard has deployed a first-of-its-kind unit called the Sea Marshals, more than 20 teams of armed and specially trained men and women.
We are the first line of defense. We are a Western Wall. It's our job to protect these vessels and protect the shipping.
The Sea Marshals' mission is to prevent the hostile takeover of a commercial ship. On this day, they board a Taiwanese freighter, locate the captain, and secure the bridge area.
Try to prevent someone from coming on the bridge that is not expected to be on the bridge, or someone they don't know, either possibly a stowaway on board or one of the crew that was working undercover and had gotten that job specifically to get on board as a terrorist.
All along the West Coast, ports are on heightened alert. In Long Beach, that means closer inspection of cargo containers being offloaded from foreign ships.
Middle East countries, where we've intensified our examinations on anything going to or coming from those areas.
7,400 containers come into Long Beach every day. They are screened by a gamma ray machine, which is more sensitive than X-ray. If customs agents spot something suspicious, they break into the container and unload the cargo for further screening. Given today's warning of a possible attack on bridges in California, those screening efforts are bound to be ratcheted up, both on land and at sea. Peter?
Many thanks, Judy. Judy Muller on the West Coast. When we come back, the thousands of refugees left in limbo. The U.S. closes the door, at least for now. And shopping for comfort in troubled times.
It seems like only yesterday. When I started skating at 8 years old, I never thought I'd experience the thrill of winning a medal. With all the great memories has come another thing I thought I'd never experience, the pain of osteoarthritis.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for osteoarthritis pain. With one little pill a day, Vioxx can provide powerful 24-hour relief. Vioxx specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. People with allergic reactions such as asthma to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, talk to your doctor about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain.
Perhaps my biggest victory is to be able to plan my day around my life instead of my pain.
Ask your doctor if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx for everyday victories.
This is Silverado Heavy Duty. The most powerful heavy-duty pickup you can get. Silverado Heavy Duty. More truck from Chevy.
How precise can changing a hearing aid battery get? Oh, this precise. Introducing the Energizer Easy Change, the world's first hearing aid battery dispenser. Simply turn the dial, then slide the battery out to activate. The magnetic arm holds the battery securely for precise placement every time, no matter what hearing aid style or battery size you use. The Energizer Easy Change. It changes batteries precisely.
Tomorrow, anthrax. Is there a natural remedy, an at-home cure? Good Morning America's consumer investigation puts it to the test tomorrow.
The terrorist attacks in the United States have left thousands of asylum seekers in limbo. The United States accepts more refugees every year than any other country in the world. But for the moment, the door is closed. ABC's Martha Raddatz reports tonight from Washington.
6,000 refugees normally come to the United States every month, many fleeing persecution, torture, and death. But the U.S. has now shut its doors.
Not a single refugee has come to the United States since October 1st.
Even the 20,000 men, women, and children already approved for entry into the U.S. have been told to stay put. The reason, authorities say since the September 11th attacks, they are reviewing already strict security procedures.
Augustine Tarmo's 5 children and parents were supposed to join him last month in Maryland from a refugee camp near Sierra Leone. Their beds here remain empty.
It's really traumatic right now. I'm trying to talk to them. Every day they are crying.
It is not only traumatic, it is dangerous. Among those waiting to come to the U.S., 400 women escaping Taliban rule in Afghanistan. Farida Azizi fled Afghanistan years ago. Her husband was recently granted political asylum too, but now he and other family members are hiding in Pakistan.
They are in danger because of me, that I am here because what I was doing there. I was a human rights activist. I was working for Afghan women.
The wait could be a long one. One State Department official said, with everything else that is going on, we just don't know when this will resolve itself. Martha Raddatz, ABC News, Washington.
Several items in the national briefing tonight. The Commerce Department says that American consumers spent less in September by 1.8%. That is the largest monthly drop in 14 years. Consumer spending, as we know, is a key to keeping the economy moving. Consumers are buying cars. Ford says its vehicle sales are up 36% from a year ago. Ford has been offering 0% financing. So has General Motors, where sales were up 31%. United Airlines says it lost more than $1 billion last quarter, its worst performance since 1975. United says that part of this is losing 2 jets, which were destroyed on September the 11th. The American Automobile Association says the average price for a gallon of gas is now $1.25. That is down from $1.54 on the 11th. Oil prices are so low from OPEC's point of view that OPEC's Secretary General said today the cartel will probably cut production this month. When we come back, shopping for familiarity, the antidote for uncertain times.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
If I had a man like Hefty.
If I had a man like Hefty,
he'd always be coming up with new ways to impress me.
Introducing Hefty the Gripper, the first kitchen bag with a stretch and grip top so it hugs the can and won't slip.
Oh, and he'd know how to hold on tight.
Then he wouldn't cave under pressure. Nothing's made like the Gripper. It stretches, grips, and stays put so it can take it like a man.
And when I'm done with him, ciao, baby.
Bye-bye. So long. The Gripper, new from Hefty, the strong, dependable type.
If your pencils look like mine did, there's something you can do. Ask your doctor if the Nicotrol inhaler is right for you. Or for more information, call 1-800-INHALER. Call today.
Abner, we're rich.
We're rich?
It's our new litter. It's got diamonds in it.
Diamonds! What's a diamond?
A diamond is a very valuable...
You are mistaken, my friends. The diamonds are crystals in new Tidy Cats Crystals Blend. The clay traps moisture. The crystals eliminate odor. And that is the only reason I agreed to live here with the likes of you.
Whatever.
New Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
I still think they're diamonds.
Your eyes need nutrition as well as the rest of your body, so Centrum and Centrum Silver added lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Now your eyes, your toes, and everything in between are covered by Centrum and Centrum Silver. More complete from A to Zinc.
Coming up next on K2 News, a St. Helens woman is killed by gunshot. Now relatives want to know why the man who fired the gun won't be charged. Plus, the government asked Portland's main post office to test for anthrax infection. And how much better is luggage scanning at PDX? We'll investigate. Next on K2 News at 6:30.
Going inside Taliban territory alongside their troops. An ABC News exclusive. Life inside Afghanistan. Tomorrow on World News Tonight.
Finally, this evening, in search of comfort. We have done several stories in the last few weeks about creature comforts in a crisis. We took note of bars doing better, junk food consumption, lower attendance at some of the nation's fitness centers. Tonight, a quick look at what some people are shopping for. Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
In a world of war and fear and unemployment lines that wrap around city blocks, there are some antidotes. The puppies in this pet store window are finding homes twice as quickly since September 11th, even at $1,000 and up.
I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold.
People are coming in every day looking for cuddles and comfort. They want something to hold on to. They want something to cuddle with.
Something to cuddle may explain the surge in teddy bear sales since 9/11.
They're warm, they're non-threatening, and they're lovable. And I guess we really need lots of love today.
Those who believe in guardian angels are now putting them on their lapels and in their pockets. The $2 quarter-sized coins are a bestseller at card stores. Americans are also buying a lot more Bibles since September 11th. Here at the American Bible Society, they say sales are up 40% in the past 6 weeks. The comfort people are finding in religion is reflected in a run on religious articles.
Oh, you want to look at the cross?
In a more secular way, electronic stores see the urge to nest and increased sales of DVDs. Digital cameras are satisfying the need to connect.
People have been buying a lot of digital cameras. They can send pictures across the internet from home to their friends and family across the country.
Home-drawn Americans are buying yarn to knit, roasting pans to cook, and New Age CDs to soothe their souls. This year-old song by the Irish singer Enya is now at the top of the Billboard charts. A nation of shoppers shopping to heal. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
That is our report on World News Tonight. In this vein, tomorrow on World News, the big business of books and music that celebrate America. They are selling at an extraordinary rate. Remember, you can always email us at worldnews@abcnews.com. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good evening and that we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Tonight, women either have them or want them. Pearls.